Hello, hi, and welcome to EmpathicFire. I am your reader, Jay. These are going to be general messages for the sign of Aries in the month of October 2018. Hi, Aries. How are you guys doing? I hope you guys are doing well. As you can see, Aries, I went ahead and I shuffled off camera to save a little bit of time. I'm going to shuffle now for your outcome and then also get the bottom of the deck energy for you. Once all cards are out and they're lying face up, that's when the reading will begin. You can check in the description box for that time. There will be a timestamp down there. Also down there is information on getting a personal reading with me. You can have any type of reading that you want, general, love, career, money, or, just what's going on in my life, Jay, whatever you want. It's not, limited to this, so just to be clear, it's different types of readings that you can get. But anyway, so shuffle now for your outcome, Aries. And once everything is here, we'll get started, okay? Whoa, wow. And that's not surprising me because it didn't take long to get your spread. So there's that. Bottom of the deck, overall energy for October. Your card came out like this, so it'll be like that on the board there. Actually, move this a little bit. Ooh, don't skate away. Oh man, these cards are bigger than I gave them credit for. And I've used them before. Strange. Anyway, let's go ahead and flip your remaining cards that came face down. Aries. Oh boy. A lot of majors. Try and get these guys a little closer together so we can share the frame a little better. Okay. Alright. Where's Aries in October 2018? Please show me where Aries is. Here? Alright, thank you. Alright, Aries, coming into October, you come in as the Knight of Swords. And for those who might be curious, this is the Santa Muerte deck by Fabio Linstrani. Yeah, Fabio Linstrani. Anyway, Aries, you come in as the Knight of Swords. So, as you kick off this time period, you might be a little feisty. You might be a little bit caught up in your own mind and your own interest. You might be kind of tenacious. You might be like so tenacious and so geared up and so full of not necessarily energy, but like you have a certain goal, or there's a track that you might be following or a plan that you might be following, and like you're not going to yield from that plan. You're very much focused on it, and you might be so focused that you might be neglecting other people. You might be neglecting other responsibilities or other circumstances that call for your involvement. So I feel there's a sense of caution with this approach. If you are sort of, in that mindset right now, Aries, you might want to be a little bit careful because it's a precarious situation. It's not to be taken lightly what you're planning to do or what you're focused on doing or what where you're focused on moving. Some of you might be moving like in terms of actual location. Maybe you're moving to a different country or a different city or state. You might be moving up the ladder in your company or something like that, or you might be moving just in general. I feel like there's motion involved here, whether it's actual physical motion or like more sort of like metaphorical motion, and you want to get there quickly is sort of what I'm getting. But again, like there's a caution about moving too fast. Don't go too fast. Move at a certain pace. Don't dilly-dally. Don't slow down, but definitely don't go any faster than you have to. I think a lot of you might be feeling like, oh, I want it now, or I wanted it yesterday, or I want it, you feel like, some of you might feel like you're up against the clock, or you're having to meet a deadline or something like that. And the caution comes because this particular knight has that sword down his throat. Now, obviously he's a skeleton, so, and everything in this deck is going to be skeleton, so there is sort of that irony because you can actually see the blade down his throat. So what I'm getting there is like a lot of you might run the risk if you move too quickly, or if you neglect details, or if you neglect certain people who might be important in this situation. You might end up eating crow, or you might have to eat your words is kind of what this feels like. It feels like you would be, for lack of a better word, you might be made a fool of if you do too much, if you move too fast, if you neglect, like I said, a certain person or certain details or certain responsibilities. So move forward, but don't rush it, don't push it. You know, it kind of has to unfold at a particular pace, which to you, Aries, might feel really slow, is what I'm getting there. And I think it's because, like I said, a lot of you are moving, like physically moving, or like I said, in the sense of a job, you might be moving up the ladder or moving into a more managerial position, or you might be opening up your caseloads. If you work certain accounts, you might have been a junior executive. Now you're going to become, you know, the next level up from that. And so there's this opening up that you're trying to do. But again, it's like, be patient in a way. Be patient. You kind of have to calm down. And I think that's kind of, you don't want me to tell you that. You don't want to hear that. Is how this feels. It's like, don't tell me that. I don't want to hear that. You know, if it's not me, if it's me telling you or other people, you're just like not in the mood to hear, slow down. And this also has like a little bit of a yellow hue to it. You know, I think most of the swords in this deck have a yellow hue to it. And, you know, if you just think of like basic traffic lights, yellow is the sign for slow down. Now, when some of us are driving, and I did say some of us because I am one of those people, sometimes I read a yellow as, oh, I gotta speed up so I can make the light because I don't want to sit in traffic. Or I don't, you know, I'm late for something, or I want to be early or whatever. So you're not supposed to do that. Lawfully, you're not supposed to. You're supposed to slow down if you can with caution. You're definitely not supposed to accelerate. But a lot of people see yellow and they accelerate. And breeze through the intersection. So I think this is telling you, Aries, put the brakes on, slow down, you know, you're over the speed limit, and just keep that track in mind, keep your goal in mind. You're going to get there, or you're going to make progress to getting there. Like, I don't feel that this is like, if you slow down, you're going to risk missing anything. I think it's just a matter of, you want to be satisfied. The job is yours. The apartment, the new house, it's all yours. The ink is dried. Getting there any earlier, a day earlier, a few hours earlier, or working yourself up into a tizzy isn't really going to change the outcome, is what this feels like. The outcome is sort of set. Like I said, you already have the job. You've shaken hands on the deal. They'll be announcing it at your job that you're moving into this position. You know, those blanket emails that they send out in corporations. Congratulations. We want to, as a company, we want to welcome Aries in as blah, 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 blah. You know, that is already in the canon. This go, go, go energy from you, this... yeah. You don't want to hear that, or you don't like this idea of having to slow down, because where you have been has been quite unsatisfactory. Where you have been has been really rough for you. It's been emotionally distressing or emotionally draining, emotionally just not pleasant. And it's also been a situation where you have felt tied down, you have felt restricted, you have felt as if you have no control. And I'm looking out the window now, and I'm just feeling like it's two things. It's like you're feeling like you're in a tug of war. So some of you have been in a tug of war situation. So I'm seeing like this sort of, not wishy-washy, but like a windshield wiper thing, like back and forth, back and forth. So some of you may have been back and forth in your decision, or you may have been involved with someone, like a partner, business partner, romantic partner, whatever, who has been back and forth, who has been on board with something, not on board with something. Say they're in on this deal, then they're not so sure. Da-da-da-da-da. So some of you, it's more of an external person or influence that's been giving you this wishy-washy, back and forth, tug of war kind of thing. going between the extremes. In other cases, or concurrently, you feel tied to that person or you feel tied to that situation. You feel bound, restricted. So again, a business partner, a relationship partner, whoever, or a circumstance where you contractually are obligated to be somewhere, you have not been able to move. Like your hands have been tied. You've been you've been going 12 rounds with one hand tied behind your back, and your name is not like Floyd Merriweather. That's not your name. You know, you're not Muhammad Ali. You're who you are. You're not a professional boxer. So having the one hand tied behind your back, trying to fight through this situation or fight for this relationship or whatever you've been trying to do, Aries, has been really tiring and really taxing on you, and you can't leave. So I'm saying all this and I'm not really showing you anything because I was looking out of the window, but okay, there we go. So on one side of you, from your starting position as the Knight of Swords, you have the Moon card. So some of you might be dealing with a Pisces person, but it doesn't have to be. The Moon card is representative of that sign, but again, it doesn't have to be. The connotation in the Moon appearing here is things have been really bleak, muddy, murky, not clear, not concise, confusing, illusionary, delusionary, whatever. I mean, look at that. The reflection of the moon on the water's surface. It's all blurry, right? A nice crescent moon, which is beautiful to behold, is now a little askew. It's now a little like strange to look at in that way. And then this this is like the only, oh wow, cool. And I've not noticed that before. So the female down at the bottom of the card, the back of the head is actually a person. There's flesh on her, right? She's got skin, she's got hair, but the reflection is the skeleton. So somebody, you or someone else around you, I feel it's probably more an external person or an external energy, has basically been faking the funk with you, Aries, not giving you the truth, not being themselves around you or being themselves in the situation, and there has been some deceit. Straight up deceit, straight up lies. There's been misinformation, miscommunication, and things have just really turned sour. Like I'm getting like a really sour, downtrodden, disappointed feeling with this Moon card, and that's surrounding you. It's on this side of you, on the left of you. On the right of you, you've got another major arcana. So this is I think I said that when I revealed all your cards. You have a lot of majors, which means there's like a grand influence. There's like a huge universal influence on you, if you want to think of it that way. But on the other side of you, the right-hand side, you've got the Devil card. Don't be scared. It's only the devil in name, really. Card of Capricorn, so there might be a Capricorn of significance in your life, but it doesn't have to be. And this is on this side, is that feeling of restriction, right? So even though this isn't the Hierophant card, I am getting that feeling of, for some of you, this could be a marriage, like not all of you, obviously, but for a few of you, this could be a situation that talks about your marriage, talks about your long-term relationships. And like I said, a feeling of restriction. Also get the sense of control, because the devil is kind of playing marionette master or puppeteer to these little mariachi marionettes, right? So there's this aspect of, Aries, someone has tried to control you, or you have felt controlled or manipulated by someone, or the circumstances that you two share together. Like I said, it could be about a marriage, it could be about a long-term relationship or a business partnership, or this could be internal energy for you. For some of you, it might be there's just like this development that's going on where you have this new goal for yourself, but you for a long time you were lying to yourself. You were kind of deceiving yourself into believing something, or you were engaged in certain behaviors that made other people think, oh, Aries is like this, when in reality that's not who you are, Aries. That's not what you're like when you go home at night and you're by yourself. And then that was you manipulating yourself, or giving your own control, your own power over to a circumstance, or over to this idealized image of yourself, like a public persona in some cases. For you guys who this isn't about a person or a job or a relationship, and it's just about you. You were sort of faking the funk, trying to be someone that you're not, and you know that. You engaged in certain behaviors or certain conversations in some cases that made people think, oh, Aries is like this. And they had this whole idea about who you are, but deep inside, that's just not true. That's not who you are. Additionally, the devil card can represent obsession and addiction. So for some of you, this could be like social behaviors. you know, you're out, you're partying more than you really want to party. Like you're not even that much of a drinker, or you're not much into the recreational drug use or whatever. But you were doing it in order to get along with people, in order to, for lack of a better word, because, you know, I'm somebody who's beyond that in my life. You wanted to be cool, some of you. You wanted to be perceived as cool. You didn't want to be perceived as being like stuck up or like a nerd or somebody who just can't have a good time. So you went along and did things that you knew were wrong, or did things that you knew were sort of against your own principles, right? And you're having this great revelation in yourself. Like it's I shouldn't say a great revelation, I'm sorry. You're having a significant wake-up call. And you're so disgusted with yourself, disgusted with that other person, disgusted with the circumstances, or just the games you've had to play, the manipulation that's been involved, the lying, the deceit, the backstabbing in some cases. I don't feel that a lot, but there's a certain level of aggression for some of you. But in other cases, it's just been a bunch of BS, and you're waking up to that, or you're finally embracing that, and you're like, I don't like this. I don't like this about myself. I don't like this about this person. I don't like this about this situation. I can't take this anymore. Okay? And even in the work situation, you could have been dealing with people who are liars and deceivers, or you may have lied or deceived a little bit to get this job. And, that was, whatever. You know your story. You know your specifics better than I do. But regardless, your starting point is you have to get away from this. These two cards here that sit on either side of you, these energies, these people that are influencing how you feel or have impacted how you feel, you want to get the hell away from that. And I feel that, what's going on in here? Yeah. You were guided to this situation. I feel many of you were guided to this situation, guided to this person, guided to this job, or to this sort of crossroads in your life, okay? Like all of this pain and suffering and anger and frustration and sadness that you've kind of dealt with in that situation with that person has all been for a reason. It's all been for a reason, a very deep spiritual reason that I don't think a lot of you are aligned with, don't even really care to think about or divulge, or allow your mind to really travel into, so to speak. Like, you don't want to go too far in thinking about it. But I think the message here to you today, Aries, is one of a spiritual connotation. The specifics, like I said, of what's going on in your life is kind of inconsequential. It could be dating, it could be a marriage, it could be a job, it could be your own personal development. No matter what the specifics are, the underpinning energy or the underpinning message is that there's something at work that's greater than you that caused you to be at this moment in your life. It led you to this moment in your life. You needed to go through that. You needed to meet that person. You needed to work this job or work with this particular boss, whatever, because behind the whole thing, you have this High Priestess energy. And the High Priestess is the card that indicates deep knowing. Deep knowing, okay? Knowing that's esoteric in nature, knowing and understanding that with 100 human lifetimes stacked on top of each other, you would never get to even a fraction of what the High Priestess knows, what the High Priestess understands about the human experience, or just the experience of being a living creature in this universe. That's really deep, and I know you don't care because you're in this energy of, I don't care, I don't give a damn, I want out of all of it. You kind of just want to be like shaking all of this off. You want a brand new start. You want to get into a new space. And, right, thank you. And the reason to slow down, I think, is to acknowledge this energy, the High Priestess, to acknowledge that there's something deeper going on, Aries, that you have to, well, not that you have to, but you might be wise to sort of acknowledge and sort of take in and sort of reflect upon or get in touch with and align with. This knowing without, not knowing without knowing, but knowing without speaking, knowing without really giving full detail, or it's hard for me to articulate, and I apologize, but I think what's going on is you run the risk of rushing so fast into this new situation, getting away from this person, getting away from this situation, or moving up the corporate ladder, or moving in together, whatever your situation is. It applies in all these different areas. It's really up to you to kind of angle it just so you understand. But you want to get to that finish point, or get to that next phase, that next step so fast that you're neglecting to understand why you had to start off on this journey to begin with. Why you need this transition. Why you went through those trials and tribulations, those difficulties, those moments of deceit and deception, those moments of manipulation and violation and all of that. You just want to get past it and kind of not acknowledge that it even happened. You gotta sit back and think about why it happened. What's the deeper meaning behind it? And like I said, 100 human lifetimes stacked on top of each other, you might not ever fully understand it, but just taking the time to reflect, taking the time to meditate or pray about it, taking the time to speak with a counselor. Sometimes the High Priestess can indicate like some type of counseling or some type of conversation that maybe you feel like it doesn't go anywhere, but because that conversation happened 2 years down the line, 5 years, 8 years down the line, whatever, you'll be ringing back to, hey, in October 2018, I saw a counselor or a therapist, or I talked with my very good friend who I hadn't spoken to for a long time, and we had a conversation that really didn't resolve anything for me, didn't really give me the answers that I thought I wanted, but given that new perspective 2 years down the line, 6 years down the line, whatever, you then at that point understand what all this is about, what that conversation meant, what was the deeper, unfathomable reason behind everything. Boy, it's deep. It's deep in a way that you don't care about, that you, I shouldn't say you don't care about, but you might not be able to appreciate at this moment. When you watch this video, as the situation unfolds, maybe for the rest of 2018, maybe for the rest of 2019, who knows? But whenever you watch this, Aries, or whenever you engage in thinking about this situation or relationship or this person, you're just like, I don't even care. I don't even want to think deeply about it. I just want to get past it. I just want to move on to the next thing. And that's, like I said, that's your goal. That's what you want. And you shouldn't neglect that. You shouldn't not pursue it, but at the same time, it's kind of like, don't forget, or don't gloss over the details. Don't avoid a difficult conversation. If this is a therapist or a friend and you don't really want to talk to them, like I said, you just kind of want to skip the session or skip, over their email or text messages that they send you. You don't want to engage in discussing what happened here and here. You just want to move past it. I would say don't neglect that. If an opportunity comes up for you to discuss it, again, even if there's no resolution, even if you end up hearing things that you don't want to hear, similar to what you might be experiencing right now watching this video, I think having that discussion, having those conversations, watching this, will be better for you in the long run. In the short term, in the right here, right now, you don't care, you don't like it, you are just like, no, I don't want to engage. But like I said, going forward or in the long run, further down the line, I think you should consider it, okay? And these all work together because they're in this nice little triangular shape, and these work together because they're also in this triangular shape. Now, this whole, I want to get out of here, I got to move forward, go, go, go with the Knight of Swords. You've got the Ace of Wands and you've got the Six of Wands, like I said, running in this triangular shape above you. So what does that mean? Like I said, what you are wanting is a fresh start. Ace of Wands, okay? You want to start over. You want a new chance. You want a new opportunity. You want to be refreshed, revitalized. Since this is Wands, this is fire, so you're definitely in your element as one of the fire signs. And you are feeling really, in combination with the Knight of Swords, you're feeling fired up. But you're also feeling like, I'm going to get this. Like, I have not had what I've wanted as the result for a long time in this relationship, at this job, within myself, whatever. You've felt like you've missed the mark, or you've missed opportunities, or people have taken advantage of you, people have ignored you, ignored your requests, or ignored your input, blah, 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 whatever, whatever, whatever. You are like putting your foot down, like, nope, no sir, no ma'am, we're not having it. I'm not dealing with any BS. I'm not dealing with any put-offs or any, we'll talk to Aries tomorrow about this. No, 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 Carol, I want my meeting today. Today. So, you're very much willing to go forward and drive forward towards what you want. You don't want a deep conversation about metaphysical things, about spiritual things, about the essence of the universe and your soul and all that kind of stuff. You don't want to talk about that. You want to talk about bottom line, bottom dollar. You want to talk about new endeavors that are creative or somehow impassioned or make you feel passionate, make you feel enlivened, make you feel fulfilled. You want all that more carnal, more, I'm not substantial, but you want to feel it. Like, this isn't, you want to feel it. You've been, for some of you, if not most of you, you've been in like this sort of numb, kind of going with the flow, treading lightly sort of thing. You're like, no, this is a big wave and I'm riding on it. You want to crash down on a huge wave off the coast of Hawaii or Australia or wherever the hell else surfers go. And you just want to go for it. You feel confident. You feel this success is yours. It's almost undoubtedly yours. You cannot be stopped. You cannot be told no. You've had enough of this murky water, unclear, no clarity kind of thing, and you've had enough of this master manipulation, puppetry BS. No, no, no. Everything is going to be clear. Everything is going to be to the letter. And I'm going to get my meeting, Carol. Don't be putting me off, okay? I'm getting my meeting, okay? Like, that's how you feel. And it could be in a relationship, you want to start over with this person, or you want to start over with someone else, okay? It could be in the job. You want to leave your job and start over somewhere else, or you want a new position at your company, or even if you stay in your role, you want new... Some of you, it is about respect. It is about understanding your role and the role of your coworkers and how your manager or supervisor talks to you. So having clearer communication, clear understanding of everybody's position, responsibilities, and all that kind of stuff. And you're kind of leading the charge. No matter what your situation is, you're leading the charge. You're in control, Aries, so you like that, don't you? I've said something that you like. You're in control, Aries. You really are. Nobody here, there's no interference. Going forward, I should say. There's no interference. Previous to this point, there have been people who have influenced you, or there have been people who have impacted the situation, but you yourself are going to turn the tide in your favor if you want to. And most of you want to. I feel nobody is wanting to remain where they are. None of you want to stick with what you've got. You want to, if this was poker, you're folding your hand and you want a new hand. You want a new deal. Okay? You're not, you're like, oh, you're looking at your two cards, you're like, and you toss that right back out. Because no. What you've been dealt, what you've been dealing with, no. Newness, progress, get me out of here. This situation has to change. These are just things that I'm feeling. These are probably things that you're telling yourself or you're telling other people, okay? On the other side, you've got the Six of Wands, right? Yeah, Six of Wands. Wait. Why can't I read this? Six of Wands, yes. Why would it be the Nine of Wands? It's the Six of Wands. So the card of victory is how this is often touted. And because if you're familiar with the traditional Rider-Waite deck, this is usually a card of someone up on a horse coming into a crowd or coming into a kingdom or something like that, returning from a long journey, returning from an adventure, and they're being applauded, and people are looking at them with awe, and they're like, oh my god, tell us your story of your adventure, and blah, blah, blah. This is more like everybody's on the same playing field, right? And everybody's moving in one direction. So I feel that it does have a slight victory to it, but it's not as grand, or it's not as noticeable as it is in the traditional Rider-Waite deck. In this particular deck, I feel that your success is not mild. The reception is mild. Like, again, if it's a promotion, people are going to send out that email. Everybody that will read it. And when you're walking to the lunchroom or you're walking to the break room, people will say, oh, hey, Aries, congratulations. And that's it. They're not going to throw you a party. There's not going to be a grand reception for you. It's just how a lot of that stuff is done in corporate America, right? Or corporate anything, really. It's like, oh, this person is now, Aries is now our chief executor of this, or Aries is now our regional manager of this. And the fanfare is limited. Still a success, still a victory, but just kind of low-key. This is low-key victory. This is low-key success and progress towards your grander goals or your greater goals, okay? So, and I think that kind of fits you, Aries. You're not in the mood to party. You're not in the mood to celebrate good time. You know, you're not in the mood for that. You really just want to be like, okay. You want the acknowledgement that you're getting what you want, or you're moving towards what you want, or that this transition is over, it's done with. Like I said, the ink has dried. So this whole promotion thing for some of you, this was decided back in July, that come October, Aries will become blah, 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 have a new title, new office in this building. It's October, here's your desk, here's your office, Aries, congratulations, shake hands, and we'll see you down in the break room for the sheet cake that we got you. Like, it's very mild. It's not a huge thing. If you are celebrating a revival in your relationships, very mild. Very mild. So to those around you, friends, family, whatever, they didn't even know you and your partner were on the rocks. You knew and the partner knew, but nobody else really knew. And so you get back with your partner, or you guys come to some type of agreement, oh, we're going to try better going forward, and we're not going to do this anymore, we're not going to do that anymore, blah, 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 blah. Whatever it is, it's not crazy celebrations. It's not crazy off-the-wall parties. It's very much, oh, this is going the way I thought it would, or this is going the way I want it to. And look at that. It's now Tuesday. You know, it's very inconsequential in that way. You get what you want. You're moving towards what you want. It's just, you know, nobody's really doing backflips about it. Okay? Nobody's, you know, swinging from the chandelier here, okay? What's your outcome for October 2018? Come on, there we go. It looks intimidating, but it's actually the Justice card. It's not the Death card, it's the Justice card. So there might be a Libra of significance in your life, Aries, but it does not have to be. But this outcome, justice. So for some of you, as I was just saying about, you know, the whole reconciliation in a relationship, some of you, this is actually about a divorce in a situation, because justice is about dealing with court systems, dealing with the law, dealing with the division of a unit or the division of a union, things like that. And so for some of you, this is going to be about a divorce. It's what you wanted, or it's what you feel is necessary going forward. And it's going to be a quiet victory or a quiet dissolvement. This is not some huge, long, drag-out fight in the court system. Okay? So for some of you, apologies, but I don't think you want an apology about the dissolvement of your marriage. I think most of you are like, well, I was divorced, or I was married, now I'm not. Or I'm in the process of being divorced, or blah, 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 blah. And it's very matter of fact in a lot of ways. But for those where it's not about marriage, and again, it could be the severing of your union with a company or with a business partner in some cases. No matter what you're winning or losing, no matter what's coming out in your favor or isn't coming out in your favor, it is tied back to this High Priestess energy of it's what was necessary for you, Aries. For your journey in life, for the path that you're on, the path that you're transitioning to, or the way that you're going to traverse that path, the way you're going to move down that line in your life, that is what was necessary. The divorce, the leaving the job, the marriage. In some of the cases, this could be you were not sure where this relationship was going, and it is leading towards a marriage or towards a deeper commitment. Like I said previously, I felt a feeling of moving. So for some of you, this is about coming together and blending a household together. You've never lived with this person, or you've never lived with anyone. Now you're going to live with someone, and it seems daunting and it seems like a lot, but that's what you need. That's what is necessary to make your journey, not make your journey, but sort of enhance your journey. You are not going to recognize in this moment. You're not going to recognize it. You're not going to likely appreciate it or be able to really resonate with it right now. But in time, Aries, in time, this will all make sense. I think right now, if I were to put a number to it, between 70 and 80% of this makes sense. That missing 30 to 20% is your resistance, straight up, your resistance of thinking about this as a deeper metaphorical or metaphysical, spiritual, in some cases maybe even religious, but whatever, like that extra, we don't even know, like it's hard to understand, it's hard to fathom, it's hard to really piece it together and make logical sense of it. The bit that you can't make logical sense of, that's that missing percentage, that's that missing piece, and you'll get that later on, okay? Overall energy for the month, which explains everything, in my opinion, is the Five of Cups. And what's obviously so telling about this card is that maze that exists in the head of that skull, right? So in your head, Aries, overall for this time period, you've been in your head, and it's been a maze, it's been a fog, it's been a funky area, it's been so hard to navigate, so hard to make heads or tails of anything. You've been walking this maze for hours, for weeks, for months, and you haven't been able to get out of it. All right, so a lot of you were kind of lost and discombobulated for a long time with what will happen next, what you can do, what the other person will do, what's going to happen with this, what's going to happen with my finances, what's going to happen with my kids, what's going to happen with my emotions, whatever. A lot of questions were rumbling around in your mind, and it made you feel like this. You were walking in a maze, and you couldn't find an exit. You couldn't find a way out. And again, this is just your overall energy. It's not your outcome. I think it's just sort of what is in the background, what's in the backdrop of your life, and it's that. Confusion. Lost in the sauce. And it's emotional, too. Obviously, it's cups. But also, look at the water. Look how deeply submerged that skeleton is. Up to the chest in water. What does that mean? Deeply emotional. This decision, this situation, this person, this relationship, whatever it is, apply it to yourself. You know what I'm talking about better than I do in this case, or in this instance of part of the reading, okay? And whatever is the focal point of this reading for you, it's so emotional to you. You don't come to it lightly. This whole wanting to rush out, I think, is more reactionary than responsive. What do I mean? A response is usually something that you've thought about, you've considered, you have been looking at the pros and cons, you've tried to be objective, da-da-da-da-da. Reactionary is like not that. It's more subjective. The pros and cons are really geared towards you and your perspective. You don't really take in outside information. And there's a certain limit that you put on your perspective. You can only see but so far, right? So it's like wearing a pair of sunglasses in a dimly lit room, or walking into a cave and putting on a pair of shades instead of taking in a flashlight, okay? It restricts you when you are reactionary. And I think that's sort of what you're doing here. And it's not necessarily bad. I'm not saying that that's the bad choice. Reactionary is always wrong. No, reactionary is usually because you've come from something that's so deeply emotional, something that just encompasses you in such a way. And Aries, I understand as another fire sign, when something has weighed on you heavily and you feel that you've poured your emotions, your heart and soul into it, or you've tried to do this, or someone was manipulating you, someone was lying to you, it just, like I said, I think I said it earlier, you just want to shake that off. You want to shed it like it's a dead skin. You want to take it off quickly, like as if your clothes were on fire. You just want to get out of those clothing, or get out of those clothes, because if you stay in it any longer, you know it's going to be hell for you. So you rush to get out of it. Reactionary. Now, granted, if your clothes are on fire, that is the proper reaction. You should get out of them. You shouldn't sit there and say, my legs are really hot and my back seems to be singeing. Should I take this off now? It's like, no, you should take it off. Absolutely. But my point is, I think a lot of fire signs, and air signs probably, given that those are the two dynamic energies in the zodiacs, more action-oriented, are quick to change their position or want to change the circumstance because it's no longer satisfactory. It's no longer, you can no longer deal with it. So I have to leave, like right now. Again, it's not bad, but I think that's just sort of the context that you're dealing with, Aries, okay? All right, so that's your reading for October 2018. I hope that you found something useful here, something that resonated with you. If you did, there's a like button down below. There's also the ability, you have the chance or the ability to, you have the option. You have the option to also comment on the videos, share them, and of course subscribe to the channel if you want to do all that stuff. If you don't, that's cool with me. I don't mind. And I will be back in about 4 weeks' time, Aries, when I come and I'm going to do your November reading. Until then, take care. Thank you guys so much for watching.